We have a 90-minute program today with no intermission. The Mira Costa Drama Tech Department thanks you for your attendance and enjoy the Drowsy Chaperone.
I hate theater. Well, it's so disappointing, isn't it? You know what I do when I'm sitting in a darkened theater, waiting for the show to begin? I pray. Oh, dear God, please let it be a good show. And let it be short. Oh, Lord in heaven, please. 2 hours is fine. 3 hours is too much. And keep the actors out of the audience. God, I didn't pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. I just want a story. And a few good songs that'll take me away. I just want to be entertained. I mean, isn't that the point? Amen. You know, there was a time when people sat in darkened theaters and thought to themselves, what have George and Ira Gershwin got for us tonight? Or can Cole Porter pull it off again? Can you imagine? Now it's, please, Elton John, must we continue this charade? It used to be, sitting there in the dark, you knew that when the show began, you would be taken to another world. A world full of color and music and glamour. And you thought to yourself, my God, when are they going to bring up the lights? Oh, well, things have changed. Hello. How are we today? Good. Well, I'm feeling a little blue myself. A little anxious for no particular reason. A little sad that I shouldn't feel anxious at this age. You know, a little self-conscious anxiety resulting in non-specific sadness. A state that I call blue. Anyway, whenever I'm feeling this way, blue, I like to listen to my music. So, I was going through my records this morning. Yes, records. And I was about to put on the soundtrack to Meredith Willson's The Music Man. I had a craving for a young Ronnie Howard. But then I said, no, let's have a treat. Let's disappear for a while into the decadent age of the 1920s, where the champagne flowed, while the caviar chilled, and all the world was a party. For the wealthy, anyway. So, I dug about, and what did I find but one of my favorite shows, Gable and Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone. Remember? Music by Julie Gable, lyrics by Sidney Stein. It's a 2-record set, remastered from the original, made in 1928. It's the full show with the original cast, including Beatrice Stockwell as the chaperone. Isn't she elegant? And this is a full 15 years before she became Dame Beatrice Stockwell. Can you believe it? Let me read to you what it says on the back. It says, mix-ups, mayhem, and gay wedding. Well, of course the phrase gay wedding has a different meaning now, but back then it just meant fun. And that's what this show is, fun. So, would you indulge me? Would you let me play the record for you now? Oh, I was hoping you would say yes. You hear that static? I love that sound. To me, that's the sound of a time machine starting up. All right, let's visualize. Imagine, if you will, it's November 1928. You've just arrived at the doors of the Morosco Theater in New York. It's very cold. Remember when it used to be cold in November? Not anymore. November is the new August. It's global warming, I tell you. Oh, we're all doomed. Anyway, it's cold. And there's a heavy gray sleet falling from the sky. But you don't care, because you're going to see a Broadway show. Listen. Isn't this wonderful? helps if you close your eyes. Overtures. Overtures are out of style now. I miss them. It's the show's way of welcoming you. Hello, welcome. Your meal will be served shortly, but in the meantime, would you like an appetizer? That's what an overture is. A musical appetizer. Oh, a poo-poo platter of tunes, if you will. Oh, what's this? Something new. What could it be? Sounds like a dance tune, kind of rollicking. Or maybe involves pirates. Don't worry, there are no pirates. Okay, now here it comes. The moment when the music starts to build, and you know you're only seconds away from being transported.
My fancy dress. I don't know why I'm wearing it, I must confess. My dress, I love my dress. Would someone tell me why I put it on?
Yes, your dress, your fancy dress. 'Twas such a pleasure airing it, restitching and repairing it. God bless your dress, it's one fine dress, and I will tell you why you put it on. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, Madam yours the hostess, and it's happy wedding time.
Wedding bells will ding, wedding bells will gong, wedding bells will ding-a-ling, and we will ding along.
Your dress, your fancy dress, we're very, very glad you put it on. Oh, wedding guests have come, wedding guests are here, wedding guests are at the door, and soon they will appear.
I'm Robert, the bridegroom. I'm here to marry Janet. That sorrow felt its follies in my love unlocked.
I'm George, that's George, his best man George. I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought. Ah, Mrs. Tondale, now don't you worry, I have this whole thing planned out. The key is organization, you see. Each string represents a task yet to be completed. Pay the musicians, yell at the floors, book the minister. This whole wedding is gonna run like clockwork.
Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
I'm Felton, producer, I close my leading lady. I've gotta stop this wedding or I'm not more smart.
I'm kidding, I came with Mr. Felton. I'll be your leading lady if I get my shot.
producer, jovial gangsters posing as pastry chefs, a blinky Korean, a Latin Lothario, and an aviatrix, what we now call a lesbian. Oh, and of course, my favorite character, the Drowsy Chaperone. What more could you need for an evening's entertainment? I don't even know what that means. All right, I will lead you through this record as best I can. Don't worry, it won't be too hard to follow. So, we begin with a welcome from our love-struck groom.
Well, I would just like to thank you all for coming. I tell you, I must be some lucky fellow. Why, who would have thought that I, Robert Martin, will be marrying a glamorous showgirl, and that glamorous showgirl will be willing to live a successful career to marry me, Robert Martin. Now, if it weren't for prohibition, I'd say, let's raise a glass.
You're here.
To Miss Janet Vandegraff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not!
Excuse me?
The groom mustn't see his bride on the day of the wedding. It's bad luck.
I hope you heard that, because that's the plot. Basically, hang on for the ride.
Breakfast will be served in the Arabian room.
Say, it's a little early to be drinking, isn't it? I don't understand the question. Look, you keep Janet away from Robert, you understand? You're the chaperone. That's your only job.
Aye, aye, mon capitan. Robert, he's my little monkey.
I'm your little monkey.
So, the bride and the groom are whisked away, and we turn our attention to the B plot, which involves the producer.
Mr. Baltic,
Getting married and leaving show business.
Mr. Baltic,
Doesn't she know I've got obligations?
Mr. Baltic. I can be a leading lady. You said it yourself. I'm useless in the chorus.
Kitty, we've been over this. You ain't got what it takes.
But I've been taking lessons. Singing, acting, ballet.
Ballet?
Yeah, I'm pretty good too. Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lake.
A little annotation. Kitty and Feltic were a couple in real life, Jack and Sadie Adler. Now, this is a familiar comic construct. A stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, she appears stupid, but in the end she does something remarkable. It makes us wonder whether it's all just an act. The irony here is that Sadie was actually quite stupid. Jack had to explain all the jokes to her, apparently. But still, she had a wonderful career on the stage. And at the time, the theater was the only place where stupid people could earn a decent living. This was before television, of course.
Kitty, I don't have time for this. A petite form, Mr. Felsick. Not now.
Perhaps a nice profiterole.
Boys, I'm not hungry.
Then perhaps we could give you something else to chew on. Yeah, something that ain't food.
What?
Your confusion is to be expected. Although we stand here before you in the guise of innocent pastry chefs, we are also, and primarily, employees of a certain individual.
Certain individual?
A certain individual who happens to be the largest single investor in Felsick's Hollins. He has sent us here as pastry chefs to express his concern about Miss Vandegraff's impending nuptials. Specifically, that if she gets married and leaves the show, then there ain't no show.
Say, do I know you?
No, you don't.
Have you ever spent any time in Toledo?
Have you ever spent any time in a coma?
No, but I got a cousin in Seattle.
Kitty! Boys, you tell your boss this wedding ain't gonna happen. You have my word.
Oh, we'll take your word all right. But to go back on that word would be a recipe for disaster. Now we hope we have made ourselves perfectly eclair. One cannoli hope. You gotta be kidding. A trifle much? Don't talk with me.
Boys! You can drop the pastry chef routine.
Alas, we can mash. We're on the lamb. Lamb's an entree, you macaroon.
The Gangsters were played by interchangeable vaudeville duo, the Tall Brothers, John and Peter Tall, born Abram and Mendo Maslaskowitz, but were renamed at Ellis Island by our sarcastic immigration official. They were an early example of the typical Broadway gangster, full of wordplay and stylized movement. Not very intimidating, unless you find dancers intimidating, which I do, but for reasons that would not be appropriate to the situation.
We'll leave this matter in your hands, Mr. Feltzig. In the meantime, feel free to browse the dessert carousel. Try the Toledo Surprise. It's to die for.
Holy cats! Mr. Felton. Gangsters.
Very receptive, kitties. Now go powder your face. I've got to stop this wedding. But how? How? Oh, Lord in heaven, how?
I always thought that moment was a little overplayed. So, with the story well on its way, let's make our way to the groom's room.
Hey there, handsome. Show me those pearly whites.
The groom was played by the dashing Percy Hyman. He started out as the Albright toothpaste man. His fabulous smile adorned every tooth. Albright was hugely popular in the early 1920s because it contained cocaine. But it's true. If you looked on the label, it was the fifth ingredient down, right after sugar. Anyway, it wasn't long before he became a huge matinee idol.
Now don't you worry. It's perfectly normal for a groom to be nervous on his wedding day. It is? Of course!
I love Percy Hyman. Now, some people say he was a bad actor, but to those people, I say shut up.
Hey there, Mr. Mirror Man. Shaking and awaken. Trembling like them fraidy cats do. Something may be bothering. Cold feet, brother, you got cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot. The little rhythm on the feet, old feet can be uncontrolled. Rhythm make them cold feet drop down the aisle. Frosty arches, they learn to swing. Icy toes can shine. Wedding marches played in ragtime swing. Make frigid souls come alive and take that dive. Cold feet, slow feet, turn them into bold feet. Really make them cold feet hot.
You don't say. Well, why don't you slide back into your mud hole, you backstabbing worm? Well, now I have to find another minister. Say, what are you up to?
I'm singing a song an old Negro taught me. A Dixie remedy for wedding day jitters.
You think you've got the jitters, you've got the easy part. I still have to get the rice boutonnieres and the minister. I have the weight of the wedding on my shoulders.
Sounds like you got cold feet.
What do I got?
Cold feet.
What do I want?
Cold feet.
What do I do? Scold feet?
No! Make the cold feet hot.
performer. I like to think of him panting and sweating after a long dance routine. He's still alive, you know. I saw him on the news recently, celebrating his 100th birthday. To say that the past years have taken their toll on him would be a grotesque understatement. Oh, he had that wide-eyed expression of pained confusion that God reserves for the very, very old on their birthdays. You know, the one that says, "Who are you? Who am I? And why is this cake on fire?" You know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
All right. That's enough of that dancing around like a fool.
I'm sorry, George. I was just trying to calm my nerves. It is my wedding day after all.
Well, you could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing is too dangerous. Why don't you go out for a skate instead? That's what I do when I want to blow off some steam.
George, what would I do without you?
Wait a minute. Oh, no. What was I thinking? You might see Janet. Here. Put on this blindfold.
George, you think of everything.
Just looking out for you, my boy. And no more tap dancing. Wedding bells will ring. Wedding bells will chime. Wedding bells will celebrate.
Just ignore it. It does this occasionally. It rings. It will stop soon. Just ignore it. What? What do you want?
Hello, you have reached my answering machine. Leave a short message after the tone, and I'll call you back at my convenience.
Well, that's it. The moment's ruined. Oh, thank you. Thank you, life. It's like a cell phone going off in the theater. And I hate that. Hello? What are you doing? Oh, I'm at the theater ruining the moment. How about you? Oh, I couldn't get out tonight, so I thought I'd ruin the moment by proxy. Sorry. Let's just shake that off. Let's go back into our minds to 1928. They didn't have cell phones in 1928. Although I'm sure they had something for the ruining of moments. Bugles or something. Happy wedding time! Entertaining questions from reporters as she lounges by the door.
Miss Vandergraaf, is it true you're giving up a successful career to marry a man you hardly know?
Yes. Robert and I met on a Lido deck of the Ile-de-France. He amused me with stories of his father's oil interests. We spooned briefly and then he proposed.
So you won't be returning to the stage ever?
I shan't.
Shan't?
I shan't.
Who would put you on that?
Of course. One more question. Yes.
Why in the world would anyone put an olive in a Gibson?
Oh, I got a question. How can you give up the footlights when you know you've got greasepaint in your veins?
Victor, please.
Jet, I'm begging you. Dump the mug. Stay with the follies. I'll give you anything you want. Oh, fine. I'll put your name above mine on the marquee.
Victor, if you think this is about vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to ride moons no more. I don't want to
more attention. I counted to 10. And I'm thrilled. Adieu. You'll never see this. And you'll never see this. Never see this. Never see that. Never see these again. I don't wanna change keys no more. I don't wanna stretch cheese. I don't wanna say cheese no more. I don't care if you scoff. I don't wanna be cheese no more. Praise no more. Grab no more. Touch no more. Love no more. I don't wanna show off. I don't wanna show off. I don't wanna show I don't wanna
Well, Mr. Feltic, it is painfully obvious that Miss Vanderbilt has no desire to continue her life on the stage. Can't you see it's killing her soul? Well, boys, I don't think this is over yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't do an encore. I don't wanna encore no more. Keep on shouting for more. Make the audience roar no more. I don't wanna
That was Jane Roberts as the bride. Oh, she was the Oops girl, remember? Surely you remember the Oops girl? Don't you people read? She was billed as the girl whose sexual energy was so great that it caused the men around her to have accidents. They'd spill their drinks, drive their cars into trees. And she would go, oops. Well, I'm not really doing it justice, but people ate it up. She made a whole series of films. Oops, The Oops Girl, Oops Girl Come Home, and Oops Girl at Sea, which won an Oscar for special effects.
All right, begging and groveling didn't work, which means it's on to plan B, for which I'm gonna need an accomplice. Someone gullible, loose morals. I need a, what do you call him? A European. La 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 la.
In walks Adolfo, self-proclaimed ladies' man. Adolfo was played by former silent film movie star and world-class alcoholic, Roman Bartelli. Oh, he was the one who later drank himself to death at his chateau in Nice, remember? It was 5 days before they found the body, and by that time it had already been partially consumed by its poodles. Well, he was only partially consumed.
Excuse me, I don't believe we've met. I am Adolfo. You were Adolfo? Yes, I am Adolfo. Oh, not the Adolfo. Yes, I am Adolfo. It's funny, you don't look like a scoundrel. Yes, what? Why, just now I overheard the groom saying that Adolfo was a scoundrel. I just heard him say that. What? Adolfo is a scoundrel? Very words. Adolfo is a scoundrel. Oh, it's like I'm hearing it again.
This is outrageous. He's saying this to peoples, to beautiful ladies, with press for making love. Why, I must.
You must take matters into your own hands.
Yes, I must take this groom into my hands and kill him.
Yes! No, don't kill him. Just hurt him enough that he can't get married.
Show me to this groom. Wait!
What?
What kind of a man is this groom? A big man? Wow, a burly fellow?
Oh, he's big on the outside.
No, I will not like big man. Small, pale, wheezy, are little dwarf people that a normal can bunt away, but no big man.
So, you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yes. Adolfo is a lover of beautiful ladies. Some say I'm the king of romance.
Well, you know what they say about getting back at a man, the best way is through his door. No, the best way to get back at a man is through his
Window.
No, revenge, back at a man through his...
Through his... There are no other ways. I'm not Santa Claus coming down chimney.
Through his woman.
Through his woman.
Yes, Adolfo, you must seduce his woman.
His woman.
His bride.
Adolfo will make love to their bride. That will show people Adolfo is no scoundrel. Show me to this bride. Wait. What kind of a woman is this bride? A big woman?
No.
A burly woman?
No, she's the cat pajamas.
Yes.
She's a looker. An attractive woman.
Show me to this cat in pajamas. Adolfo will make her purr.
Stop that.
Like a cat in pajamas.
Roman Bartelli, chewing the scenery. You certainly couldn't get away with a performance like that nowadays, could you? Mature, contemporary audiences are too sophisticated to enjoy broad racial stereotypes on stage. So, we banished them to Disney. Let the children sort it out.
Underling?
Yes, madam.
The pastry chefs have been kind enough to provide the liquor for the party, but remember, Underling, we have to be discreet.
Yes, madam.
It is prohibition, after all.
I'm aware of that, madam.
We'll have to use code words. For instance, if someone asks for a glass of ice water, it really means they want a glass of vodka. Have you got that?
Yes, madam.
Are you sure? Maybe you should write it down.
I understand, madam. A glass of ice water is a glass of vodka.
What's a glass of ice water?
Vodka.
Ice water?
Vodka.
Ice
Vodka.
water. Well, you see, that's settled. Then one less thing to do. Underling, might I please have a glass of ice water? I found our meeting with the pastry chefs rather trying, and I would enjoy a refreshing glass of ice water.
Your ice water, madam.
That was more vodka, you poop!
I hate this scene.
Now I really do need a glass of ice water.
A glass of ice water?
Yes, ice water. Are you going deaf?
Would that I were.
You can see where this is going, can't you? It's really just a series of spit takes.
Your ice water, madam.
That was pure vodka, you poop!
You know, the Drowsy Chaperone was quite progressive.
Your ice water, madam.
That was pure vodka, you poop!
Yes, some elements were progressive. Others were stale. In 1928. You know what? I'm just going to skip ahead.
Where do you think you're going?
Going to find myself some lime juice, madam.
Lime juice? For heaven's sake, why?
I'm going to wring out my eyebrows and make myself a gimlet.
Now, you're probably asking yourself, what was that routine doing in the show? Well, it's quite simple, actually. There's a song coming up, and they needed something to allow for set change. It's mechanics. Oh, it's like pornography. Let me explain what I meant by that. You see, in pornography, the story is simple. How am I going to pay for this pizza? The classic example. My point is, as in the musical, the story exists only to connect the longer, more engaging production efforts. What? Well, what kind of society do we live in if we can't discuss the similarities between pornography and the musical theater?
Oh, my head is spinning. Yes, life is a mad whirlwind.
This is a very interesting scene. This is the only time of the show when Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are alone together on stage. Jane Roberts was an emerging star, but Beatrice Stockwell was already well established and a force to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehension. But I suppose that's normal, considering the circumstances. Have you ever been married, chaperone?
No, I drink for pleasure, not out of necessity.
Your ice water, madam, I'm afraid we're fresh out of olives.
Have you ever been married, underling?
Heavens no, madam. If I'm going to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my efforts.
Oh, you too. I know it seems crazy to give up a successful career to marry a man I hardly know, but somehow, for some reason, when I look into his eyes, his big monkey eyes, gee, I get all woozy. And that's love, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The wooziness could be caused by any number of things. I mean, I'm woozy right now, and I'm certainly not in love.
Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired the troops in every major world conflict, up to and including the Falklands War. Of course, by that time, she was well into her late 80s, and her anthems didn't so much rouse as stupefy. But still, she demanded that a rousing anthem be put in every show she ever did, even if it wasn't appropriate. But you just couldn't say no to her. That's star power.
Really? You're not being the least bit helpful. Couldn't you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration? Really, dear, that's not my forte.
Yes, but you've walked this earth a long time and
Stumble along on life's funny journey. As we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do. Still we bumble our way through life's crazy labyrinth, barely knowing right from left nor left from wrong. But as long as we can hear that little bluebird, there'll be a song as we stumble along.
That was quite nice, chaperone, but I don't see how it pertains to my situation.
Let me explain.
Oh, really, that won't be necessary. I suppose I'm just looking for a sympathetic ear to hear me out.
It's a dismal little world in which we live. It can bore you till you've nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, Antarctica, oh please.
Antarctica? Oh, please.
Still, you mustn't let it lick ya, this planet, oh so bland. Keep your eyeball on the eyeball in your head. As we stumble along, cross life's crowded dance floor, as we push and we shove, we lay
was when she was, regardless of the needs or concerns of others. My mother was like that.
That was quite inspiring, Chaperone. But I'm still conflicted. Oh, please, just tell me, is Robert the man for me?
My dear, that's just something you'll have to decide for yourself.
I just don't know if he loves me.
Why don't you just ask him? Why don't you say, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert. And I'm not allowed to see him. In fact, it's your job to keep me away from him.
You're right. And I take my responsibility very seriously. However, I'm just at this moment feeling terribly, terribly drowsy. I'm afraid I'll have to have a lie down. Now, whatever you do, don't go wandering through the garden, seeking out your fiancé, to ask him the question upon which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone. I just have to know if he loves me.
Such a skinny little fool. Still, I envy her. Oh, when will love come crashing through my door?
La 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 la.
In walks Adolfo, come to seduce the bride.
I am Adolfo.
Try not to think of the poodles while you're listening to this part.
I am Adolfo, and you are bride.
No, I am not.
What? But this is the bride suite, and you are the only one here. Therefore, you must be bride.
Interesting argument, but I'm afraid you are a moron.
What?
Me? No. Bride. Perhaps I can take a message.
Yes, very good. Dear Van de Graaf bride, I must make love to you and transport you to a place of ecstasy. Sooner is better. Sign Adolfo, King of Romance.
Well, you saw through my little ruse. You found me out.
Ah, so you are the bride.
Apparently, yes. Take me, the doll face.
No, not Adolfo. Adolfo. You must remember the name, or when you're making love, you are screaming. You must say the right name, or it will spoil everything. How can I make you remember? I'm sure that you has heard the name of Adolfo. A lady's man who wins a claim of Adolfo. Well, lovely miss, I am the same Adolfo. I introduce myself, I am Adolfo.
Nice to meet you, shall we?
Not so fast, so just think as you're there, dear Adolfo. I'll try to make it very clear, Adolfo. There are lovely ladies always here, Adolfo. When I repeat myself, I am Adolfo.
Understood.
I can sing it, no, Adolfo. I can sing it very fast. I can sing it very slowly. I do it now, but it will take hours. Now let's see if you can remember my name.
I'll give it a shot.
So who's the fellow that you say Adolfo? And how should you ever go me Adolfo? And who is it that'll always be Adolfo? I'll sing loudly.
You are Adolfo.
Now let me spell it out for you. For all you lovely ladies out there who haven't heard for some reason because you are hard of hearing or something. I don't know. It goes.
lover. I mean a real Latin lover, not a buffoon. But that's what musicals are all about, right? Romantic fantasy, falling in love at the drop of a hat, spontaneous tangoing, suddenly finding yourself in an extremely romantic setting.
I'm an accident waiting to happen. Don't worry, madam. I'm getting married today, so I have to wear this blindfold.
A blindfold?
I'm sorry. Who am I speaking to, anyhow?
Why, it's me. I mean, Mimi. Mimi from France.
This scene couldn't be more ridiculous.
So, you are marrying Jeannette Van de Graaf, no?
Oui.
I hear she is very beautiful.
Oui.
And glamorous.
Ah, oui.
Is it true that she has an exceptionally broad range and excels at playing both comedic and dramatic roles?
Say, I'm having trouble placing your accent. What part of France are you from?
Oh, the middle part, where they make the toast. So, you were telling me about the, how do you say it in English, fiancé?
That's right.
Well, tell me, when was the moment when you knew that she was the only one for you?
It's a funny story, actually. We were standing on the Lido neck of the Ile de France.
Yes.
I was amusing her with stories of my father's oil interests.
And then what happened?
And then I looked into her eyes. Her big, glamorous eyes. And I felt all woozy.
And then you fell?
Yes, right on my keister. And I said, well, I guess I don't have my sea legs yet.
But we haven't left the dock.
That's what she said. And that's when I knew it must be love.
And then what happened?
Then I said, there was a time I could stop on a dime. Forbearance was one of my talents. But since you've been around, I can't hold my ground. I'm consistently losing my balance. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I'm a mishap about to ensue. I'm the toy on the stair, a three-legged chair, a hat that's been caught by a shoe. When my two lovesick arms started flapping, there were nothing my ankles could do. I'm an accident waiting to happen.
works out, and the only people who break out into songs are the hopelessly deranged.
Where is that philandering foreigner?
It's about it.
How long does it take to seduce one bride?
It's about it. You don't need Janet no more. I've been working on a mind-reading act. Presenting Kitty the Incomprehensible. Pick up some milk and a loaf of rye bread. And don't forget to shave your legs.
You're reading your own mind, you idiot!
No wonder it was so easy.
Mr. Phelps, it would seem that the wedding is proceeding according to schedule. Now it's time you received your just desserts. What do you say, partner? Why don't we whip up something special for Mr. Phelps? Yeah. How about a Toledo surprise? Ah, inspired choice.
A Toledo surprise? I never heard of it.
No, you haven't. Those who have are generally never heard from again. We'll share the recipe with you. First, you chop the nuts. Then you pound the dough. Then you bake it up nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo surprise.
Could you run that recipe past me again, boys?
It's a very simple recipe, Mr. Feltzik. First you chop the nuts, then you pound the dough, then you bake it up nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo surprise. Say, why don't we give him a taste? All right.
Hold it! What style? What grace? What rhythm? Open your fists. And now shake them. Now give me the recipe one more time. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Go!
Chop the nuts, pound the dough, bake it up right nice and slow. Then you got a Toledo surprise.
Yourself!
Bit the peach, peel the skin, mush it up, throw it in. That's a tasty Toledo surprise. First you beat it up, then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it into snap. Try it, folks, whip your whites, split your yolks. Then you got a Toledo surprise.
You boys are natural.
Honest? Sure.
You go work on the contractors. Hey, the 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ooh, Mr. Felsick, what's going on here?
Hey, I'm developing a new act.
Toledo surprise.
You putting gangsters in the show and you won't put me in? No, not even in the union!
It's not what you think. The new act. It's for you. And these boys are your backup dancers.
Backup dancers? Holy cannibal! I'm Toledo love, my Toledo good. Yes, Toledo sugary yum yum. About your tuxedo, Toledo surprise!
Oh, he make an announcement. Wedding is off.
What for the love of God, why?
Adolfo has made love to their bride.
You idiot! That's not the bride. That is the chaperone.
What?
The wedding is on.
The wedding is off!
What?
Robert kissed a French girl! Her name is Mimi. She's very beautiful.
I couldn't help myself, Janet. She was just like you, only French.
Sweet mother of pearl.
Underling,
Yes, ma'am.
what is all this commotion about?
The wedding, ma'am.
Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
Oh, not anymore. Oh, what a tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. Clear the floor, boys. Let me show you how it's done. First you beat it up, then you straighten it up. When you beat it up, then you tries to rise. Don't let it get in. Toledo surprise.
Surprise!
When
go out and it's time for intermission. At least it would be if we were actually in the Moroscope Theater watching the Drowsy Chaperone. Which, of course, we are not. I don't like intermissions. They ruin the magic, you know? They yank you back into reality. One moment, you're lost in the magical world of music and color, and then bang, you're surrounded by tourists. Crinkling candy wrappers, nattering about the lack of women's restrooms. Oh, it's cruel. Oh, it's a power bar. I have a bit of a blood sugar issue, so I have to eat small meals all day long, or else I get jittery. I know it's rude, but you wouldn't like the alternative. Believe you me. Believe you me. I remember my wedding day. I didn't eat breakfast, and the ceremony wasn't until 4 in the afternoon. Ah! Oh, I do. Were you surprised that I was married? Well, there you go. You shouldn't go making assumptions about people now, should you? I'm a very complicated person. I have to pee now. But I'll be quick, and while I'm gone, you can listen to the beginning of Act 2. Drowsy Chaperone. That was from another musical entirely. I have a woman who comes in once a month. Can I say that? I have a woman? Anyway, she cleans the things I absolutely refuse to clean. She's very good, but she has an annoying habit of putting my records away in the wrong sleeve. Even though I tell her, no touch records, Carmela, no touch records. I suppose if I spoke to her in complete sentences, she'd stop touching my records. Anyway, that song started Act 2 of another Gable sideshow called The Enchanted Nightingale. A degrading piece of chinois about an emperor who's told by a magic bird to marry his American elocutionist instead of his betrothed. And he ends up building the Great Wall of China. A slap in the face to 4,000 years of Chinese history. But it had some wonderful tunes. Well, that was Beatrice Stockwell as American Lady. And did you recognize Roman Martelli as the Emperor? Yes, he was a man of 1,000 accents. All of them insulting. Act 2 of The Drowsy Chaperone begins with this. A haunting lament of a very depressed bride. She sings it standing on the balcony, bathed in the pale blue light of a sympathetic moon. Which is ridiculous because it's the middle of the day. While you're listening to this, try to ignore the lyrics. I know it will be difficult, but block them out. And that's another thing I love about musicals in general. When a character's in a crisis, they sing and they dance, which is much more interesting than just whining about it. But that's the glory of musical theater. Oh, you see, this is what I'm talking about. This is life. You manage to be happy for 5 seconds and then something starts ringing.
What a beautiful day for a wedding.
Shall I have the pews removed now, or would you prefer I wait until the morning?
Okay, I'm going to stop here because I don't want this number to be ruined by a ringing telephone. Here, we have 2 vaudeville performers who have slipped through the cracks of time. They are Noel Fitzpatrick and Ukulele Lil. I don't know anything about them. I suppose Ukulele Lil played the ukulele, although she doesn't in this show. Actually, I tried to find out more about her. I went through all my books. I even tried the internet. But all my searches ended with Tiny Tim's autopsy photographs. Anyway, they're both charming.
Why would you have the pews removed?
The bride has called off the wedding.
Oh, underling. Never listen to a bride on her wedding day. Love is a very complex emotion, underling.
Yes, madam.
Well, you can be close to someone 1 minute and the next you just want to strangle them. Do you understand?
I'm very familiar with the urge to strangle. Yes.
Oh, you see, that's just the nature of love. Love makes lovers worry. Love makes lovers fret. But here's a fact on which we can depend. Just like Uncle when Romeo loved Juliet. Love is always lovely in the end.
But Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy, man.
Oh, I never read reviews. Love can start a quarrel. Love can cause a din. But love has always been a trusty friend. Twice a happy fate for Hanky Payton and Napoleon. Love is always lovely in the end.
Might I remind you that Anne Boleyn lost her head?
Yes, she was in love. Love was good to Eve and Adam, and Samson and Delilah too.
Good grief, may I pose a question, madam? Why does nothing I say to you ever get through?
Don't mind if I do.
charm me. But to be frank, on some level, that number pisses me off. Now, I'm going to say something here, and yes, I have been drinking, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that love is not always lovely in the end. Often, in the end, there are lawyers. And another thing, surely someone was aware of the awkward sexual connotation of the title. Love is always lovely in the end. I mean, is it just me? I guess what I'm trying to say is that number is naive. And irresponsibly so. Sorry. I just thought that needed to be said for the benefit of the young people. I'm going to stop interrupting. Oh, there's a moment that's coming up that I've become obsessed with.
There you are, chaperone. I'm in a terrible state. You certainly are. You can't go to the wedding looking like that. You poor dear. Haven't you heard? The wedding's been called off. Not your wedding. Mine. Oh, that reminds me. Might I borrow your veil? You're getting married? But to whom?
Love. Oh, your eyes. Oh, beautiful lady with baffled expression.
You're marrying Aldolfo? I know it's surprising, but when I look into his eyes, his big, clumsy eyes, I get all drowsy. And that's love, isn't it?
Oh, yes, dear, that is love. Help me.
There you are. All right. I've got to put my cards on the table. I've got a weak heart, can't take the pressure. If this goes on any longer, the old ticker's going to give out. So please, tell me, is there going to be a wedding or not?
Yes.
Thank the good Lord in heaven.
Aldolfo and the chaperone are getting married.
What?
Oh, there you are. I have wonderful news. There's going to be a wedding.
We know.
You know?
Yes, we just heard.
But who told you? But how did you know?
What difference does it make?
Mrs. Totendale and I are to be married in the garden this evening at 7:30.
What?
What? Oh, yes. Congratulations to everyone.
Say, what kind of cockamamie wedding is this? Everybody's getting married except the bride and groom.
There you are. Oh, Janet, I've been looking everywhere for you.
Hello, Mr. Martin.
Please don't be that way. Can't you find it in your heart to marry me? Janet, it's our wedding day. George has gone through all this trouble, and well, I do love you. More than I could say.
But you kissed another woman!
Yes, and I just can't understand it. I know this may sound ridiculous, but when I was kissing that French girl, why, it was just like kissing you.
Oh, Robert, you were kissing me!
You mean, you're me? Well, that French accent was remarkably accurate.
Thank you. I developed a little rule of Monique in Hold That Baguette.
So it was all a ruse?
Yes, a cruel ruse. I used my skills as an actress to test your love for me.
Oh, Janet, knowing that you can fool me so easily, why, it makes me love you all the more.
Robert!
There you are! Now, before you do anything, think about this. No matter how well you play the role of the happy wife, you will never, ever get a standing ovation.
I don't know. Oh, I'm so confused. Chaperone, please, just this once, I beg you, give me some advice that is coherent and appropriate to the situation. Should I marry Robert?
Okay, here it comes. This is the moment I was talking about. Not only the culmination of the plot, but a moment that has fascinated me more than any other and has brought me back to this record again and again. Here it comes.
Well, my advice to you is...
And this is it, listen.
Well, you can.
You see, you can't quite make out what she says because somebody drops a K. I'll play it for you again.
Well, you can.
Is she saying live while you can or leave while you can?
While you can.
I mean, it's Beatrice Stockwell, so it might just be some cynical quip. But this is a wedding after all, and that's exactly what you think when you're standing there at the altar, isn't it? Live or leave. And you have to live because you do love her in some way. I mean, it's not exact science. An arrow doesn't come down from the sky and point to the one you're supposed to be with. So what do you say to someone? You say, I love you. And you basically phrase it as a question, but they accept it as fact. And then suddenly there she is, standing in front of you with a $3,000 dress with tears in her eyes. Oh, and her nephew made the hoopah. So, what do? You say I was kidding? I was joking? No. You can't. You live, right? You choose to live. And for a couple of months, you stare at that alien form beside you in bed, and you think to yourself, who are you? Who are you? And then one day you say it out loud. Then it's trial separation and couples counseling. Oh, and all your conversations are about her eating disorder and your soft addiction, and you're constantly redefining and reevaluating, and revisiting, until you finally lose the deposit on the house. And the whole relationship ends on a particularly ugly note, with your only copy of Gypsy flying across the air and smashing into the living room wall. But still, in the larger sense, in the broader sense, it's better to have lived than left, right?
While you can.
You have no idea how many times I've listened to that.
Oh, Chaperone, you truly have a way with words. Robert, my answer is yes. I will marry you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Mr. Felting, it looks like this wedding is a done deal. Now you're in trouble, and there's nothing you can do about it.
But there is. I found a replacement. A new leading lady. Presenting Kitty, the Incredible! All right, Kitty, now concentrate and show these boys that you can read my mind. My mind.
Kitty, will you marry me? Holy Catherine the Mountain, yes, yes!
Isn't she amazing?
Well, what are you waiting for? You ladies go put on your frillies. We'll all get married in one big clump. That's how they do it in Utah.
Well, George, I don't know how you managed to pull it off. 4 weddings in one day? I guess you're everybody's best man now.
I am?
Of course you are.
I am!
Hip hip hooray! He's George, the best man, George.
I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought.
He's basking in the glory of a fight well fought. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time.
happens occasionally. It's a horrible old building with terrible wiring. Just concentrate. Keep the show alive in your minds. Don't talk to anyone. Don't let yourself be distracted. I'll find the fuse box. Everybody be quiet.
It's a super! Hi.
Hello?
Your lights are out?
Yes.
Yeah, we had to shut the power off because we're replacing the breaker panels in the basement.
Yes.
So we replaced it, but when we turned the power off, the brakes in all the apartments tripped.
Yes.
That's what happens, it's normal.
Oh, yes.
So I gotta reset your breakers.
Now.
It'll only take a second.
Alright.
Because I tried calling you earlier before, but there was no answer.
I seem to be having a problem with the telephone.
Here we go. What was that?
It was a record.
What kind of music is that?
It was just music. It was a show. You know, a musical.
You like musicals?
No.
I love musicals. I go with the wife all the time. It's amazing what they can do nowadays. Did you see Miss Saigon? They landed a helicopter on stage in that one. Yeah, I've seen them all. Cats, Les Mis, Saturday Night Fever. I like the movie better.
Oh, really? Well, goodbye. Well, that's it. It's ruined. One note away from the end of the show and the mood is broken. I'm just gonna restart from the beginning. No, I can't do that, can I? Oh, it's so frustrating. You have to understand, I love this show, and I've never even seen it. My mother gave me the record. This was just before my father left us. Oh, he didn't leave because of the record, although I'm sure it didn't help matters. Look, I know it's not a perfect show. The spit-take scene is lame. The monkey motif is labored. But none of that matters. It does what a musical is supposed to do. It takes you to another world. And it gives you a little tune to carry with you in your head. You know? A little something to help you escape the dreary horrors of the real world. A little something for when you're blue. You know? As we stumble along on life's fun journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there.